Hello there, Sir from 17 once again, introducing you to my Rage Nightmare difficulty video walkthrough. This is mission 21 and we are salvaging Ark equipment. So you have to talk to Lasserd here, this dude who really reminds me of the guy that sits on top of the wagon at the end of Mad Max 2, who gets fried. I don't know why, he just does. He's like the generic engineer dude. And I think it's because his seat lowers. I think that's what it is, because if you'll remember, the guy on Mad Max 2, I don't think he can use his legs. I think he's either handicapped or he's been injured, and he lowers himself in that like sash thing. If you're wondering what the hell Mad Max 2 is, shame on you and go watch one of the best Mel Gibson films ever made. But this mission, I didn't like at all. This is another mission I really disliked, and this is when the game to me started to drag a little bit, because this canyon is real gay. You're going to be taking on a bunch of bandits that rush you like mutants, and a bunch of them that throw grenades and have these grenade balloons floating around, and it's very easy to die, and it's not very fun. But luckily enough, it's very short. If you know what you're doing, you can get through it real quick, and then you can be safe in the knowledge that you are 2 missions away from that achievement and the end of this game. But yeah, here we go anyhow, Rage, and I don't really have anything to say about this mission aside from use your shotgun, use your wind sticks, and know when to push forward. So I'm probably going to mention those opportunities when they arise, but for everything else, I'm going to be talking about The Walking Dead. So I got a mission clearly in real life, and I went off like an assassin and murdered a president. No, I got a message off of somebody on a video. I can't quite remember what it was or who it was from, so I do apologise, and I don't think I replied to it because sometimes I look at them on my other computer and my keyboard was knackered, so I couldn't physically reply until I went onto my laptop, and by the time I turned my laptop on I'd forgot about it, and so on and so forth. You know the story, it's just a giant excuse. But somebody asked me if I liked The Walking Dead, and I never answered, so this is my answer if you're watching, and the answer is yes. The Walking Dead is an exceptionally great zombie TV drama show that shouldn't work, but for whatever reason it does. And the reason why it does work is because it had a fantastic director at the helm, it had really good actors, really good writing, and a really good story. And just when you think you're completely, burnt out and bored of zombies, something comes along and redefines your image of what a zombie program has to be. And the thing I really liked about The Walking Dead is it showed the relationship side of this apocalypse, and it made it real. There's a lot of programs that you'll watch, a lot of films especially, where the zombie apocalypse always ends up with them going to stockpile someplace where they've got resources and weapons, and themselves always seem to be the downfall. It always seems to be, the human nature and the flaws with the people that turns out to be the ultimate undoing of the group. And The Walking Dead is very similar on this. It's a principal story theme that a lot of narratives have, but it also seemed to be more about the zombies as well, which was nice, because you got an emotional connection with the character, and then a zombie turned up and it messed them up, and it just made more sense to me, and I liked it. I also liked the lead character guy, the dude from Love Actually, who is extremely English and puts on a pretty decent American accent throughout. But it just had a lot of tension and a lot of good, character moments where everybody was kind of at each other's throats. Everything was happening, in subtext and kind of underhandedly. And then towards the end, it all amalgamated in this kind of cop-out, if you ask me, when they went to the Centre of Disease Control and the dude just tried to blow everybody up. And my one criticism of the first season was none of the episodes that followed were better than the first one. The pilot was absolutely fantastic. It was grueling, it was interesting, it was everything you could want from zombie fiction. And the first episode of the second season is nowhere near as good as the first one was, but it's still entertaining, it's still decent, and I'm still going to watch it. So for anybody that's not checked it out yet, I'm not going to drop any spoilers, I'm just going to go over what I know. And it's taking place, I think, a couple weeks after, or a couple months after. I'm not quite sure on the timeline, but they're all moving as a convoy in cars, and they're just living day by day, scavenging and moving forward, going towards, I think it's some fort in another state. Because the CDC thing didn't work, and they need a goal to keep on living, really, to have some kind of focus to take the mind on the fact that there are things that are going to try and eat them. And they're kind of just pushing forward, and there's a wonderful moment in the first part of the episode where a massive herd of zombies just kind of shows up when they're scavenging for water and supplies, and they all get under the cars. And it's one of those moments where if you were surrounded by zombies, or even remotely close to zombies, you would be under that car being quieter than you've ever been in your entire life. You would be quiet as the damn womb. You wouldn't even be kicking. And yet, one of the plot holes and one of the, plot progressions in this particular episode is a young girl thinking the zombies have gone. She gets out from under the car and the zombies are still there, and it balloons into this massive catastrophe. And this poses one damn question to me: why the hell would you do that? And I understand from a writing perspective that we need tension, we need conflict, we need crisis for it to be interesting. We can't just have everything, work to the characters' favours, because that would make very dull television. But at the same time, it's just like, why, lady? You're 12 years old. You do not have the confidence to move out of underneath the car when your own fucking mother doesn't, and the guys with the guns. That's it. Police officers with weapons are still cowering under cars, yet you're being macho and climbing out from under them, and inevitably leading to probably your own downfall. It's just ridiculous. And I said probably then. I rolled my W when I don't even have a short tongue, so I'm not too sure why I did that. But there was a lot of holes in this episode, and some of the writing I really did not like. And it's probably me just being fussy, or me having a lot of expectations, but even the speech at the start, it just didn't get me pumped at all. It just kind of felt contrived. And it was a nice throwback to characters that we'd met in the first season, but there was just some bits of it that really didn't sit well with me. And it was an average episode of a series that's, a series that does a lot better and can do better. So I'm looking forward to the rest, because I'm hoping it's going to improve, but it just didn't start the way I was expecting. One thing that kinda sucks and is kind of awesome, I'm not too sure which one, I can't make a distinction just yet, is at the end of it, it went, next time on, The Walking Dead, associated with AMC, and it showed you pretty much snippets of everything that's going to happen this season. And there's a part of me that was sitting there thinking, why the fuck did they do this? Because now I don't have to watch the program. But at the same time, it was like, oh, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, this is cool, that's not so cool, that dude's getting laid, someone's got a gun, someone shaved their head. It was a lot of information very quickly, and it was obviously in teaser format to try and get people interested for the rest of the season, but it kind of works the adverse way with me, because the one thing I like the most about this as a series is you never know where it's going to go. I mean, if you read the comic, maybe you know where it's going to go, but I never read the comic, so I don't know where it's going to go. And that's the thing I enjoy. That's what I enjoy the most about Breaking Bad, because that show goes from north to south in the space of a second. It's just ridiculously schizophrenic when it wants to be. Everything's calmed down, everything's neutral. It's, 1/7 as shit as it was before, and then suddenly all hell breaks loose, and, the face-to-face with the devil, and there's nothing they can do. And that, to me, is really refreshing, because a lot of TV shows these days follow very strict guidelines, very sequential type of episodes. They follow set patterns, and it's all, very archetypal. Starts off with the build-up to some kind of premature climax that throws, the good guys into some kind of turmoil. They then have to build up to something else, another plot change, another plot swap. They somehow get a lead, and it eventually leads to the bad guys unfolding. And it's very similar, and especially with all this forensic shit that's on the TV these days. We're gonna have fucking old women next with blooming sperm kits just looking under blue lights and finding serial killers, cause everything's got a blue light now. Everything's got forensic labs. Everybody's dressed immaculately as if they've just come out of some, high fashion show. And none of them look like they've ever done a day's work in their life, yet they're working these grueling forensic jobs. It's horrific, but they're all very similar, and don't get me wrong, some of them are entertaining, and I do watch a bunch of them. I just think we seem to be in this kind of hole where there's not that much, different viewing on TV, which makes Breaking Bad look so great, which makes, The Walking Dead so appealing, because it doesn't have any fucking cops in it that are telling you, how many fingernails were ripped off during the rape, and we found this piece of fabric under her chin. It turns out it's absolutely nothing to do with the case. I don't know why I said it. It's just... It's frustrating, but somebody likes it. That's why they've got 9 million fucking seasons, and then good shows like Lie to Me and all that kind of stuff get cancelled, and Human Target prematurely gets severed because they're not hitting the same numbers that CSI Bolton's doing. This week on CSI Bolton, a hooker finds a piece of cheese in her underwear. I wonder where it came from. It's just horrific viewing, and we pay for it, so, you know, I always ask myself, how do these programs get made? And then you kind of think, well, someone's fucking watching them, because that's why they exist. But keep pushing on through this area, keep going across the catwalks, shotgunning the guys that are close, swapping out to a better thing for you know, long range. It's all pedestrian stuff, it's not too challenging. The only area of this that gets difficult is when you're descending down the spiral walkways, because you'll notice there've been those little red, almost like the Chinese lanterns, but they explode because they've got grenades in them. And there's going to be a bunch of those coming up, and they're the real threat of the level, because you're getting rushed by dudes, you're getting shot by other dudes, and then there's the lantern bombs. And this is the section that I'm speaking of, so you will see it in the next video. Thanks for watching, and you take care now.